but I must have closed it.
There we go. We're streaming.
Oh no, there it is.
Hello,
I'm ready to switch to the map view if we need to.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna do a off the cuff recap, I guess. I should have prepared
This is for the entire campaign, right?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Let's truly test my improv skills.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, he's gonna do it. Do you remember all the weird characters you made up?
Do it as Ailson.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you remember what happened with Ailson? Like,
this is just a like a pub story that you heard.
Yeah.
From
Okay.
that's a good idea.
I wish I'd actually prepared this. It would be quite interesting. But here we go. Well, I think I remember what Ailson spoke like, and I'm vaguely sure it was something like this. Now, gather round, gather round. There was quite a tale that happened in the Deseret Valley and Summer Hills back in the day. Yes, I think it was roughly 10 years ago where this group of quite a unusual collection of folk. They called themselves, by the end of it, mind you, the Quadruple Heroes. Every week I saw them, they'd add another stack of heroism to their titles, but you know, I believe that they truly did deserve it. Now, I'm not really sure how they arrived or why they arrived in the Deseret Vale. Maybe it was just the allure of heroism that brought them there. You know, maybe it was a natural sense of wrongness in the world that drew those of such, you know, firm resolution and thick blood towards the cultists. And yes, there were cultists abounding. It was not a myth, not a folk tale. Yes, 10 years ago in the Deseret Vale, there were cultists everywhere, and they were working underground in the halls of the Drow. We did not know this, but the Summer Hills used to be a dwarven fortress built upon Drow ruins, and it had drawn the cultists to them. The Quadruple Heroes started by rooting out the surface operations.
Yeah, it's us because everyone's frozen.
Oh, are you back?
Yeah, we're back. Sorry.
Yes, I thought I heard one of their voices just then. How eerie. Yes, I had not met them at this point, but they purged the veil of the Feathergale Spire infestation. The wretched villain who had taken on that title claimed he was running some sort of finishing school for the youth of Waterdeep out in the countryside, but really he was just recruiting for his cult. It did not take the Quadruple Heroes long, and they left nary a soul but Sad Benjamin in the prison. Yes, Sad Benjamin. I do wonder what became of him. Anyway, from there they found out that it was not such a surface operation that was going on, and that there was actually more afoot, and they tracked down an ambush of the delegation from Mirabar that was seeking to solely move through the Summer Hills, and they were too late to intervene, but they found many clues and headed south to Summit Hall, spoke with the good paladins there, and then made their way even further south to, blessed soul, Womford. Yes, the rebuild is still occurring. There's poor folk around here, but, you know, it was once a picturesque little pastoral scene of good, hard-working folk growing from the soil, a town, a soul. Yes, I did love those folk. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to escape the explosion that ravaged Womford and brought it to its knees. Thankfully, because of the Quadruple Heroes, they had hired me. Sorry?
Just keep going. Don't worry about the hecklers.
They had hired me as a pure twist of fate to ferry them up and down the Deseret River, and so I did. Frankly, to this day, I cannot fathom what overcame me. That job had death written all over it. Maybe it was the absurd generosity of the small dwarf Yodeler, who was for some reason, the party's head negotiator. But look, I guess it got results. Yes, how could I say no to a face like that after all? So I ferry them up the river to Riverguard Keep. It's quite the tourist destination now, actually. Is this? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's quite a tourist destination now, but at the time it was a hostile environment. There was corpses hanging from the keep, warning people away. But the quadruple heroes made short work of the werewolf who was running that show. But mind you, I think I might be skipping a bit. I think they actually went to the Sacred Stone Monastery first. Yes, yes. Ah, yes, that's where one of the heroes was actually slain in the line of duty and brought back to life because he was that important to preserving the peace. Not at no cost, mind you. It did take a cost a arm and a leg, they say. This time literally. From there, let's see, where did they go from there? I believe they actually went back to the Sacred Stone Monastery and dug deeper and realized just how bad the depth of the infection had grown. Down they went, and they emerged. I feared that I would never see them again, but they did emerge covered in mud, but with the first of the sacred weapons brandished before them, Iron Fang. You know of it only in lore now because it's been sacrificed to shut down the cult's portals. The only way, according to his High Lord Lathander. Yes, they returned and spent some time in Red Larch. I don't really recall what happened in Red Larch over that period. It was. I feel like my memory of that whole area is quite hazy. How peculiar. Very strange. From there, they struck out again, down through the cultist temple beneath Riverguard Keep, and even further into the Fane, the confluence of all of the the cults where they met and they fought and they claimed ground and claimed property. It was there they found Gar Shatakino, and just like his compatriot Marlos, he was slain by the quadruple heroes, who at this point had become the double heroes, having conquered Gar in his temple upon his giant crocodile. Ooh, I do not know how. I must admit that I've skipped over a section here that's rather embarrassing for me because you see I was captured at around this time and I was held in the Fane. I thought I was going to be fed to that crocodile, mind you. So I owe a life debt to the quadruple heroes for saving me. Though arguably you could say that they got me in that sort of situation in the first place. But bygones are bygones. The heroes emerged again, and this time set out to go even deeper. Down into the air temple they went, and they breezed through it, and then further deeper still to confront what was her name? Ares?
Nerisi?
Arisi herself,
Arisi Kelena.
who had fled to her shrine, seeking to unleash her Prince of Elemental Earth upon the Desert Valley. The double heroes were just in time and earned the title of Shruple Heroes, having slain Arisi on the brink of her summoning. Windvane was claimed to accompany Drown from Gar Shatakil and Iron Fang from Marlos. From there, the heroes they were on a warpath. They got wind of well, actually, yes, they got wind of danger in Belliard, and suddenly rocked up on an airship. To be honest, I'm not really sure where that came from, but it was truly magnificent and really solidified their status as, at this point, triple heroes in the eyes of all of the Summer Hills. They saved Belliard from an invasion, and then chased the fire cultists who were trying to bring the town to its knees back deep into their lair, jetting straight through their entire defenses, all the way down to the lair of the what was it called?
The Weeping
The deep,
Colossus.
yes, the Weeping Colossus, the most intimidating of all of the cultist shrines. Um, the what was her name? Vanifer was on the brink of summoning her prince, but a powerful spell was cast across her domain, preventing the summoning. A bargain was made with a dragon, and the cultists cleaned up the last of the last of the cultists were cleaned up by the now quadruple heroes. Um, the portals were closed. At least we're pretty sure they're closed. No one's been able to get into the temple that's being collapsed, but all other temples have been assessed and known to be closed. And that was the last we heard of the quadruple heroes. Yes, their name lives on in lore, and I for a gold coin donation, I'm happy to go into detail about each of them. Just right in this cup over here.
Nice, well done.
Thank you.
Toss a
Nice.
coin to your captain starts playing in the background.
Yeah.
What?
You know, toss a coin to your Witcher.
Oh yeah.
Hated about himself.
Good 2-year recap.
Yeah.
We...
So, panning out of the tavern, we see the Desert Vale, and then panning out even further, we see the Sword Coast, up the clouds drifting over it. Where are we panning to from
Who wants
Reckon
the...
Ed first because he'll be the most local.
I'm quite local. I don't want to fuck anyone else's stories up though.
you won't fuck mine up, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure, so...
And then I yeeted Jet into a waterfall.
Yeah.
Until he drowned.
Did Lachlan send this to you? All right. After the
there? Wait, Ed,
well,
pan back in for me. I need to know where we're panning to.
oh shit, we pan back away from the Sword Coast back to the Desert Valley and zoom in just south of Red Larch to a small, well, a very large strawberry farm. And there we find Quark. After the initial stir of adventure and defeating the cults, Quark goes on one last journey with his old buddy Yodelurg that I'm sure Yodelurg will tell you about in more detail. And then after that, and after searching for airbase for a short period of time, Quark retired to return to his farm in Red Larch and spread the good word of Lathander with the seed of the melon. At first he struggled with farming and distributing an amount of seed melons that he felt was enough. But he made a bit of a breakthrough when he returned to the mysterious crone in Belliard and learnt the secret of jam. After 10 years, Quark is an old birdman who has spread seed melons far and wide in the Desert Valley. His feathers are greyed and his journey is coming to an end. He has spread the word of life and renewal to the Somber Hills, but never reached the high highs or the low lows of defending the realm and the connection with Lathander he once had. He wonders what happened to the elf, the feisty lady, and the okay-looking dwarf that he travelled with all those years ago. He never takes another birdwife and spreads Lathander's good word with the seed of the melon rather than the seed of the bird.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it's
lovely.
I can't believe they lived for 30 years.
I know.
Yeah, he's
Especially
like pretty
with how
old.
long- Especially with how long like Jet and Yodelogo lived.
Yeah.
So did Quark end up establishing a sea melon empire, or did he
Is
just
it
do okay for himself?
He did okay for himself. He's a seed melon
Yeah.
empire, like, as he knows it.
I've got...
He spreads melons to the local region, and before that he was a hunter-gatherer, so that seems pretty good to him.
He stepped
Yeah.
up.
It's
Very
more
true.
seed melons than he could possibly ever eat and ever feed to the people around him. So
Yeah.
Lovely.
His
Okay.
world is still pretty small.
So it's a quiet night. Quark is processing jam in his jammery. By candlelight, the camera pans back out, past the jammery, past his rolling strawberry hills, back up into this to focus on the Salt Coast.
Where we gonna go?
And we start heading towards Waterdeep, towards the spires of the morning, which is a Lythander temple. Where's mine? All right. So after Embes made her escape from the party, Yerlerg has spent his time helping in the pursuit of finding Wimbane, with the assistance of the Orderly Gauntlet and of course through Lythander's grace. He also found an unlikely ally in Mr. Lament to assist in finding his daughter. He sends daily Lythander sermons to Embers each morning at the dawn in an attempt to steer her to the righteous path of light. He would attempt to gather information on her location by asking if it was at dawn where she was. But every time so far, Embes has led him on a wild goose chase with her misleading responses.
I love that, like, Yodeling would probably be like, "Oh, she's definitely turned it
Yeah.
out. She's definitely across the ocean."
I've tricked her.
Yeah, I've got her. While not searching for Embes, Yodeling is spreading the word of Lythander and elevating himself within the church. Already he has been graced with a dignified position as Lythander has declared him as the Morning Knight. Yodeling would commune with Lythander excessively, which the god would lightly chastise him, but Yodeling knew it was all in good faith of his service. Yodeling has also started to get more into the arts, but he found he did not have much talent for it, but has been quite successful in being a muse.
Being a muse?
Due to his natural physical charm, he was able to become the poster boy for the church in the recruitment to the clergy and for inspiring others to join the crusade in Lythander's name. He would help lead the crusades against the Undead of the world. His first mission was with Quark to clear the somber hills of the Lich in the Stone Monastery, as well as the Necromancer plaguing the lands. I'm not sure if that was the same thing or not, if it was a Lich and Necromancer.
They were different, yeah.
There you go. When he could, he would also seek the help of the artificing skills of Jet and Voldemir to outfit his fellow Crusaders with gadgets for an extra advantage against their undead foes. Cleansing the land of Lythander will become a staple in his life for the years to come. In more recent years, while Yodeling was still very active in the church, he would still find the time to visit the required Quark on his seed melon farm/empire, as the Aarakocra age much faster than the dwarves do. He always cherishes the time he can spend with Quark, as a close ally of Lythander, but also as a friend. Yodeling continues onward in his life, trying to redeem his former comrade and to better himself. All in the name of Lythander, blessed be the dawn.
Blessed be the dawn.
Well done.
Thank you.
That was quite inspiring, actually. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
So we zoom out of a paint shoot with a modeling Yodeling asking if he should take his toga off, and the painter saying, "No, please keep it on." Zooming out into the hustle and bustle of Waterdeep, up back onto the Sword Coast.
Yeah. I didn't really pick like a place to go. I just said like a city. So
I think you're a mystery.
Mysterious. You don't want to reveal the location.
Yeah, a disclosed location.
yeah, we'll see. Well,
That's
I've
great,
got
actually.
my notes here. Anyway, so Embes struggles with the effects of both Lathander.
Oh.
Oh no. We might have to get them to turn off their camera. Hello? Do you want to?
Again, you cut out.
You might help if you turn off the camera, as.
Oh, is it really bad for you guys? Sorry.
It just pauses like literally.
It
when
just
you start.
pauses for like 4 seconds sometimes, so.
Yeah. Just do occasionally. It should be okay.
We'll see
if
if we
it
know.
doesn't.
I don't think it's a bandwidth thing.
Welcome to the country.
The helmet that she found inside the water temple, which aided with psychic damage, helped alleviate the pain, but wasn't like a permanent solution. So secretly from the Zentrum, as she finds out that they wish to eventually use the power of the Anode for leverage against the Circle of the Kings if needed, Embez has a similar magical weapon forged through a few aliases, which is actually probably done by Voldemir. And then just like passed back. But it cost like literally all the wealth she was able to take with her from her escape from the rest of the party, because a lot of it was left on the airship as well. The Zentrum find out about this, and Embez has to make her escape. It's a grueling. She basically just has to walk and camp, and she kind of ends up toughening up a bit back from where she was whisked off to, which I've forgotten that place name. So
I didn't have it written down.
Citadel Felbar.
Yes, yeah. So she makes the journey back to the Somber Hills with her new weapon, and goes into the air temple and finally throws in Windbane now that she has a superior weapon. This is like 2 or 3 years later, so like quite a while later. Because the thing about Windbane is that it makes her selfish and makes her forget her duties, so she feels like she's got no duty to the weapon. It's literally, I don't want to let this go because it makes me really powerful, so I'm just going to get something more powerful and then chuck this away so I don't have to deal with all this barrage. But I find it quite fun. And
We lost you right after barrage.
oh no! What was I saying? Oh yeah, like
Do you want to deal with the barrage?
Yeah. I continue to deal with it because like 3 years later, I look back and I'm like, wow, they were actually really good friends. Like, I low-key regret what I did. Ooh. And now that Ben's gone, I like understand it was mostly because of that, and like a little bit of duty and honor is like something fine to have, especially when you've traveled with these people for so long. So for Embez, it's like a nice little, even though it's like, you know, this one being like, it's dawn, da da da. She's like, oh, you're not talking to me. It's really like quite nice to have.
I love the idea of you actually leading him to like where you are, but you like sort of like standing in like the 3rd story of a building, just looking down at him and like, ready to like talk.
That's great. And I'm just like, oh, you've tricked me again.
Yeah, so while she's there, she does some light, dodgy and stealthy looting, trying not to fight and just sort of trying to steal as much as possible through the leftover temples and the node, trying to amass a small fortune. She creates a new underground society in the shadows with her savings. It's very secretive, considering that she now has both her father and the Zentrum as her enemies, so she's like generally quite worried. So it's very underground, very exclusive. And she continues working to this day, 10 years later, to amass enough power and wealth to impress her dad, and has learned how to use sending, and sends her dad messages every day taunting him, because she learned it from Yodel. She still has a very light haste addiction, and selling haste potions is a big part of her method to mastery. So she's spiking liquor with potions to make people. Oh no, it froze. Hang on.
She's spiking liquor with haste potions.
Yeah, she's spiking liquor with haste potions to get people addicted to her brand of like liquor that she's selling and strawberry daiquiris.
Oh my god, you're like the original Coke.
Yeah, literally, she starts the original Coke, and that's it.
Oh, cool. That was
nice.
Quite a good conclusion to the Embez plotline.
Twists within twists. It's M. Night Shyamalan out here.
We're in the back room of a bar where Embez is overseeing the operations of some haste spiking. And we zoom up. We go straight into clouds, so we can't quite tell exactly where it is. And by the time the clouds clear, we're back looking at the top of the Soul Coast. Where are we zooming into, Dylan?
So the camera zooms in once more, flowing down through the clouds and flying north up to the ancient ruined city of Mithranor. A full moon sits high in the sky above a single pinprick circling above the ancient elven city. Zooming in closer towards Ataya's pact, a familiar figure stands on the bow of the ship, hat sticking over one of his eyes, with a motley crew behind him, some mechanical, some flesh. This this well,
I like it.
the small air genocide turns around to his new band of adventurers, preparing to give them a rousing speech. Boys, it's finally time. We finally learned enough and got enough things. Let's get down into this city and go and find out if we can what we can do to raise the ancient citadel of Netheril. This is what destroyed this area back in the time of troubles, and it's been too long since the world has had ancient flying sky citadels. The map if we can actually find out a way to do this.
You cut out
Ah,
flying
where did we
flying
go?
sky citadels.
Oh yeah. Too long has it been since the world has had flying sky citadels. And with that, he steps over backwards and falls off the airship, plummeting down with the rest of the crew following him. And cuts to black as they all slow their fall and descend into the city. 10 years have passed, and Jed has continued his adventuring. Having spent some time with Quark and Yodelerg and the hunt for Embez, he eventually bids them farewell and says he will keep in touch, doing what he knows best and following the wind and his feet, in search of other rare treasures and new abilities to master and new things to make. The eventual goal, his final goal, was having learned about the ancient flying citadels of Netheril and their empire. Jed has decided to spend the next few hundred years of his life working on a way to bring them back and set them into the air once more. As what better way to show the dwarves that they aren't the only greatest artificers in the world than bringing floating sky fortresses back? Having spent this time amassing wealth and building new things, Jed has taken the time taking small adventuring jobs while focusing on his craft, including having crafted a single exquisite wind spear for some shady characters that had approached him in a tavern one night. I couldn't help but think that he knew who it might have been for, but had a sneaking suspicion that this might actually lead to a better outcome in the final days, or lead to a better outcome in the long run. So put all of his skill and talent into creating this magnificent weapon.
That's right, because you were the weapons and Voldemort was the armor. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Get it wrong.
I didn't know. I sent it to some dodgy person and it just went off.
Who knows what you elves do with your little elf hands?
Yeah.
Who can keep track?
It is Christmas after all.
Exactly. Jed still thinks fondly of the time that he spent with the group, making a yearly trip back to Waterdeep to meet up with Yodelerg and occasionally checking in on Quark. Always hoping to eventually, once he had finished building the spear, always hoping to eventually hear back from Embez, having realized that she must have come up with a better idea to deal with Windvane in looking for a new weapon. With that said, all that there is left is more artifice, more adventures, and more gold to be had. As raising sky citadels is not something one can do with a lamppost.
Love that. Oh.
Nice.
That was so satisfying, honestly. I'm thinking of like the follow-up campaign now where Embez like gets the band back together to take out the Zentarum, who are like up to like some sort of like evil plot. Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
It writes itself.
I need to like slightly change my end to be like, oh, continues on with his life, knowing that he has redeemed his former comrade.
Do you know though? Do you know? It's like
I
a
don't know.
secret.
Well, I assume depends.
It depends.
If she's responded.
Does Embez like after the 3 years? Would you like? I mean, it's up to you. Do you want 7 more years of messages from your daughter, or do you ever say?
Wait, I specifically said I wouldn't tell him, so he continues to message.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, yeah.
I got the connection. Yeah.
Like if they ever went and checked, they would know that it was closed.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
It's locked behind the stone wall. Not easy to check.
Yeah.
All right. What do we miss, Lachlan? What was the best piece of loot that we walked straight past?
Yeah.
Ooh. To be honest, it was the one that you only got at the end there.
The
That lost
dagger.
crown and Bezelmere.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a really good one.
So
That
I
was
heard
quite
quite a lot on magic items.
It is light on magic items. there's like some random stuff like the Trident of Fish Command, which is
Oh my god, that's awesome.
as it says.
That's fucking sick.
It looks sick though.
It does look sick.
I mean, never getting to use the one that Quark pickpocketed was a bit sad.
Oh, my new necklace.
Yeah, you've got it now.
Because those are cool.
Those are very cool.
Dominate beast.
Oh, what was the
Anything that swims, you could use it on the crocodiles.
right? What was the final outcome with the delegation? Like, once you got them all back, do they do
Yeah.
anything?
Did we
Anything
save
with
those
Jake?
guys?
Those
I don't know.
3
The
diplomat
delegation,
pieces.
honestly, like unless I missed it, like, and I pored over the books to try and figure out what that was all about, but it was kind of just it literally just felt like sort of the plot hook to get you into the dungeon.
Yeah, where was his body? Did we ever find that?
Because it seems like they forgot about, like, the writers forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of just like the campaign. I don't know, like it. They just like the delegation. Like if you look at concluding the campaign, I wonder if I can.
Oh,
It was gonna be big. Or is it nothing?
it's Blake.
I'm gonna look at the Twitch on my phone so I can see what he's. Oh, that's good.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't have it on the screen. Maybe I'll switch across to the map now.
What are you? Is this on Roll20?
Yeah,
It's
sorry,
it's
I'm
just-
just
It's
I'm
just
just
like
sharing some of the GM notes, basically some of the book contents.
Oh,
No.
I'll
Just get
roll.
on Roll20. You should be fine.
But yeah, basically like the last mention of uh the the delegation is quite early on, and I was like, I guess that's it.
It was
Yeah,
like, what do we need these 3 special pieces for? And then it just like nothing.
Yeah, because I read that they
Oh
sort
yeah,
of just
there was 3 books and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they weren't anything in the end. Like,
And I was trying to figure out a way to like make them relevant again, but then like it would have to do that. It sort of would have detracted or like taken you guys away from the cultists, and then like the whole adventure was sort of focused on the cultists. I think what would have been nice is if I had done something with them around like meeting in Red Larch and like you saved us on this very important mission, blah blah blah, something like that to sort of reward you. But we sort of as soon as we finished with like the way
Straight
it
on
concluded,
through.
Embed's like,
speed run.
Yeah.
but I think that was also because we were trying to wrap it up at the end of the year, which I think was sensible. But
yeah.
in the end, delegation just kind of did their thing. They weren't as important as they may have seemed up front, and I think that's actually kind of like a realism thing. If you think about it, like they just happened to be
The wrong
like,
place, wrong.
wrong
Yeah.
place, wrong time, exactly.
Yeah.
What about that necromancer that just like you just
Oh,
like dropped
yeah.
in the story, and then
Yeah.
I said did the sending to the guy, and he's like, "Don't worry about the necromancer." So we like you mentioned it, and then we're like, "Don't bother with it." We're like, "Okay,
Optional side quest.
okay."
But I liked it because I was gonna reintroduce.
Oh, there's a
Solomon.
whole cave.
Oh, missed out on Solomon, his 3rd rendition in the story.
Yeah. A great little one shot. If you ever want
Yeah,
to run like
looks-
a quick one shot, you want to try your hat at DMing, I would just use Solomon's Cave.
It's nice and small.
I mean, hell, I might do that at some point. That'd be fun. So I really should try DMing at some point.
Have you not DM'd?
I'm not DM.
Really?
What?
You're pretty good with your
Dylan,
voices.
your talents are wasted on one character.
Yeah, I reckon you'd be good at it.
Yeah, I think like you could easily put together like some clues in town, and then like it all leads to this necromancer, and then you go through and you meet what is he? He is what's his character sheet?
Real.
He's only a level like a 2 challenge caster.
Oh,
He
very
could be
early.
he could be amped
So-
up a bit though.
I'm pretty sure the Necromancer's Cave is one of like the initial quests that you can do in like book part 1 of the book.
Like
Yeah.
you meet up at the start.
Yeah. Well, what about the big Necromancer in the Stone Fortress?
Oh, the Lich.
The Lich, yeah.
He was a legitimate Lich.
So would we
I really
even be
didn't
able to
want
kill him?
fight him. No,
At-
he would have fucked you up.
No, at 12
By the
now.
end.
Because Liches are
He
pretty
was in-
strong.
He was in the Sacred Stone Monastery.
Yeah.
Um,
At level
you say
12, would we still
go-
beat him?
Like right after I ran away, you were like, "Let's go kill that lich."
Let's go kill that
Yeah, I
bitch.
still wanted to kill him.
Maybe you're 10
was-
years in. Maybe you just got fucked over by the lich.
See, I
He
don't
was
remember
Renwick, a 21 challenge lich.
Oh
Oof.
shit.
one. Fuck
Maybe
me.
we didn't find the lich.
Maybe we had to get the might of the whole crusade, the whole Lythander's church. Ooh, maybe not. Jesus Christ, I didn't realize he was a proper lich.
Renwick actually had quite a good story.
The
Why
lich
was he
did.
there? Why was he there though? Like,
Summit Hall was established long ago as a fortified monastery by the Knights of Samilar, an order dedicated to Tyr god of justice, which you knew. A paladin of Tyr named Samilar Caradun founded the order and its monastery. A tomb within the monastery contains Samilar remains as well as the phylactery of his
Phylactery.
brother, Renwick Caradun, who dwells in the Sacred Stone Monastery as a lich. Hundreds of years ago, Renwick was a hero of some renown and the brother of Samilar Caradun, the founder of the Knights of Samilar. Two of them fought bravely in the Second Troll War. Renwick's hunger for arcane knowledge eventually led him to prepare for lichdom, but he became a lich only because his brother fed him a lichdom potion on the battlefield rather than let him die. The Black Breath cult naturally tried to make an ally of Renwick, but he ignored them. Ellenray and her monks make a point of leaving him to his own devices. Renwick doesn't attack intruders. If he believes they are characters of the characters of Black Earth cultists, he says, "I have already told you, no, depart." If confronted by characters he believes aren't cultists, he says, "I am not your enemy, now go." If the characters provoke him, he provides fair warning. "In a moment, I will fill this room with deadly, poisonous gas. You should leave now." If attacked without warning, Renwick uses Time Stop, then casts Cloud Kill before taking his leave.
ooh.
If the
Cloud
characters
Kill.
recognize Renwick, perhaps from stories told at Summit Hall, and remind him of his heroic days, Renwick might be moved to help them. He doesn't want to fight the cultists since he has no longer any wish to kill, but if persuaded to help, he bestows a gift on any paladin or good allied fighter in the party, an amulet of health. He also promises to keep more cultists from reoccupying the monastery after characters drive them out, and he might part with some of the potions and scroll described in the next section. So he was interestingly deep, but also very hard to sort of engage with, because like the sort of plot points are like fuck off. Unless you've been like poking around Summit Hall for some reason, like enough to get stories of him, and like for that to have happened, I would have had to have done a lot more preparation and made sure I read all this before you guys got to Summit Hall.
Yeah.
Tried to give like hints when you were in the basement, like underneath, about like, because that's where I decided I sort of retconned Samilar Caradun to be buried down there, and I was like, oh, you might remember Knights of Samilar, but
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I try not to push this stuff, and I'd rather just like throw it out there and see what happens. Because to be honest, you guys are surprisingly good at picking up on like little plot hooks like that.
Oh, that's really cool though.
Shit,
He's
to
an
retcon my
18th level
story.
I
spellcaster.
mean, literally time stop cloud kill. Like,
Yeah, I know. Like that's
That's very rude.
that's just TPK, right? Like,
Well, only you were in the room.
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I think time stop cloud kill is a like insta death. Let me check time stop.
Cloud Kill does a lot of damage. Like
What's
that
Cloud
one time when
Kill?
that the demon thing cast it on Jet, he had a very bad time.
5d8.
Time stop is a level 9 spell. You briefly stop the flow of time for everyone but yourself. No time passes for other creatures while
And
you
he's got a
1d4 plus 1 turns in a row. So it could be up to 5 turns, and Cloud Kill does.
No,
5d6
as soon as it
poison
affects
per turn.
another creature
As
other
soon as
than
it
you,
hurts.
then they come out of time stop.
Oh,
still.
So I think
What
we
level's time stop?
are
No,
allowed to leave.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Time Stop is a big spell.
Maybe we, we brought the whole crusade.
You still
Full
going
Lord of
for
the
it?
Gauntlet.
You still want to try and kill him?
Get everyone.
Okay.
Nah, I don't think.
Maybe we went to find him, and then who knows what happened? Fade to
Yeah.
black.
Oh, did we miss anything in any of the towns?
Red Larch had some like side quests. It had a pretty interesting like almost mini cultist side quest. Yeah, so it's like sort of another one of those intro, like at level 2. You guys start at level 3, but beneath the town are tunnels and chambers carved by ancient dwarves, and basically, yeah, over the years, the believers formed. Sorry,
Bless you.
Believers?
believers.
The believers.
And they believed that, like, you know, the phenomenon under the town. What was the phenomenon?
A false hydra. Is that what it was?
Yes.
No, the
Only-
false hydra was completely off plot.
It kind of links to this one though.
But it would make sense. The believers observed the stones for messages in their movements, basically, and then the Black Earth cult arrived and were like, these guys love rock magic, and basically started manipulating them, and that was one of the hooks to like get into the campaign. But we didn't need it because you guys started at level 3.
Oh yeah.
There was a Belliard side quest which was kind of interesting that never happened.
Is it the Simpson house?
Oh yeah. So
What of the Simpson house?
the Simpson house was completely made up by me.
Damn it!
Westbridge, sorry. So there's a town to the north of the Summer Hills called Westbridge, and basically, seeing no end to the destruction visited on their homes, a cowardly faction among the elders of Westbridge submit to the forces of elemental earth. They hope to be spared further sorrow and destruction. Characters learn this development from Sedina Wolfpaw, a half-elf scout from Tribal who visited Westbridge, discovered the situation and hurried to track down anyone who could help. She says, Westbridge was badly damaged by earthquakes. I was down that way and I found half the town gathered in front of the Harvest Inn. Most of them were listening to a priest in stony armor. He was preaching about how destruction was coming and only those chosen would be spared, and they were listening to him. She shakes her head. When I tried to speak up, the priest told the townies to seize me, but I managed to escape. I knew I had to find someone who could fight these lunatics, so here I am.
Jesus.
And it was kind of like a little side quest for like dealing with Black Earth cultists in Westbridge, which seemed pretty interesting.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
What about the red dragon?
The Red Dragon is as described pretty much. Like he was like very loosely aligned with Vanifer. And Vanifer basically brought him in to be like a source of power for her cult, with the promise of giving him a bunch of treasure along the way. Once she had accumulated it, and he sort of was like, well, the fire cult seemed like the best cult, I'll align with them. But yeah,
Okay.
he was like, it was a loose allegiance at best, and he was very happy to throw him under the bus as soon as something better came along. 10 years from now, I suppose that dragon is probably still doing dragony things. You know, they live a long time, still just building wealth, gathering power.
Yep.
On a similar thing, what about Sebastian? Was he anything else? Like that
Yeah,
other-
Sebastian. That dude got away. Jumped into the floor.
Yeah, the other tiefling.
No, he wasn't a
Oh,
teacher.
no, it's
Oh, yeah.
fire.
He was a
That's right.
genasi.
Fire Genasi.
Who? Oh,
The
wait.
Who's Sebastian?
Fire genasi in the fire
We
temple.
found him just before we first found Vanifer.
He offered to
Oh.
like give Vanifer over to us to take over the cult, and we were like,
Oh,
so
yeah,
still a cult? No.
He's like, if you just give me Tinderfang, I'll tell you where she is.
Oh, that's right. He was just, a grubby little politico who wanted power for himself. Probably still alive. Probably not a fire cultist anymore. Probably working his way up some other hierarchy.
It's probably in Embez's.
Yeah, it might be in my. Speaking of like hierarchies and stuff, like with the Zentrum and what were you guys part of?
The Order of the Gauntlet.
Yeah, did that have any bigger bearing on the story, or was it just teams?
Just plot hooks mainly. Like, please sort this out. It was sort of left. Well, the Zentrum had that was quite convenient because they did have quite a big presence at the bar right in down in Montfort. That was quite good because it allowed me to sort of push the plot along that way a little bit. But they these factions are sort of nebulous. They're kind of like they're dealing with so much crap along the Sword Coast, so they're like, oh, another a new problem. We'll deal with it with this random group of adventurers who happen to be around. And then if it got bigger, if it got out of control, like for example, if you had lost to the first one of the princes who was summoned, the Zentrum and the Order of the Gauntlet probably would have provided aid to go back in and to try and suppress, fight this big battle between a bunch of cultists and a bunch of Order of the Gauntlet Zentrum agents, and allow you to sort of fight the prince again.
That's probably how the campaign would have ended.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, because were the princes like supposed to eventually come out, or
Yeah. So the way the campaign played out was pretty much it. So you were meant to beat one cult leader in their temple, then one in the Fane, then one just as they're about to summon their big bad guy, and then one was meant to successfully summon their big bad guy. And you were meant to deal with that. And to be honest, it looks like you were probably meant to lose. The stats, like, let me find the stats on
The fire
Yeah.
one.
Fire
I
Guy.
remember I was reading.
So this is IMX's stats.
I feel like we'd have to be way higher level to deal with IMX.
It's just
He's
a
a
picture of a
19
big
pound.
fire. You didn't send us the stats.
We don't see anything, Lachlan.
19?
Oh, wait a minute. That fire's got eyes.
Yes. Because I mean, was it you guys I was saying it to, or I was saying that I like the idea of doing like a second chance theater where we do just go and like fight one of the princes, like, you know, after the
Yeah.
fact with gigs.
We could
But
try that.
yeah, sort of big.
We've still got the water one and the air one that I haven't shown you, so that could be fun.
Well, we still haven't seen the fire one.
You sure? Just showed it.
I'm pretty sure.
So,
Pretty sure, Lachlan.
Oh,
You're
I'm
supposed
COVID
to lose.
negative. Yeah.
and then what
Congratulations.
happens?
Congrats. Where's mine?
I better tell Liza.
Maybe
Where's
just
my
find that his
result?
medical information is on
Why
the
don't I
side.
just look up IMX?
It's his own fault. Yeah, you
I don't
tell us
wanna
the
I just
stats.
wanna read the book now. I can find a pirated copy online, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't you mean a copy that you've purchased legally?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You're gonna get banned.
Oh, IMAX looks cool.
No, it's because there's pirates in it.
Yeah.
That's
Ah, okay, yeah.
Good
like
save.
Ailsa.
Good save.
Yeah. Me hardy.
Challenge 19 rating. Is that higher than the Lich?
Here we go.
No, it's lower.
Just two lower.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a motherfucker.
Fire aura. At the start of each of IMX's turns, each creature within 10 feet takes 17 or 5d6 fire damage.
Yikes.
Oof.
And a creature also takes 5d6 fire damage if it touches IMX or hits him with a melee attack while within 10 feet of him.
Oh, that's
what?
a bit. How many hit points does he have? How many hit points do you have?
325.
That's not as much as I thought it would be.
Sounds
yeah,
like
it's
a
a bit
lot
lower
of
than the
points
Earth
to
one.
me.
One.
Yeah.
No, non-magical weapons that hit IMX are destroyed by fire immediately after dealing damage to him.
Like melee.
Yeah, non-magical weapons.
Oh dear.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's got fireball, wall of fire, firestorm, haste,
What?
teleport.
He's got fireball.
I know. You've got multi-attack, a slam, which does 2d10 plus 7 plus 5d6. You can do that twice. Flame Blast. 10d6 fire damage. Holy shit.
Yikes.
Yeah, I think we'd need to be a couple more levels. Because I mean, it says the book technically says you should be finishing at 15. So I think if we were like 15, we'd be okay.
Lachlan
Yeah.
was just rolling us in there at level 12 or whatever. He's like, in you go.
I do love that one point where it's like we did one thing and then it's like you level up again.
You level up.
Another time.
You level up.
One more. You would have to do that like 2 more times to catch us up.
Yeah, we floated around level 10 for a good while, and then I was like, oh shit, they've gone. You went like straight through the fire dungeon,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh shit, boom, 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 boom.
It is a pity how quick it was. Like there wasn't a lot of downtime or travel time or anything like that because there was a whole heap of shit that I wanted to try out.
I feel like we
crafting
spent so long fucking around before though. We did all this
Yeah.
stuff for like months and months and months where we were like, oh, we have a little peek. Oh, we don't go in there though.
Yeah, the Stone Monastery bit took us ages to do.
I feel like we did the Stone Monastery for like 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
My bird life of only
But
35
like
years.
in game there wasn't a whole lot of but like in game there wasn't a lot of time for our
Yeah.
characters. Like at most we had like 1 or 2 days in a town where we were very drunk. Because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it'd be cool to like use all this stuff and like make some shit. But at one point, I was literally just gonna get Epilogue to cast Fireball on me and suck it into a scroll, which I thought was
Yeah.
real because I just wouldn't have told any of you that that was a thing you could do before that.
Yeah,
That is cool.
I think that's something I've learned for next campaign is to have a couple of like downtime sessions which are really player driven and not just like facilitated and like you do whatever the hell you want. Like there's fast travel everywhere, especially once you got the airship. It would have been fun to just sort of like
Because we
check out a town basically.
Yeah, right.
we kind of had that at Red Lodge, but it felt really like, what do you do now? And I'm like, oh shit, like
I like that
wasn't
session
ready for
where,
this.
sorry.
Oh no.
I was gonna say I like that session where we're all doing our like own thing in the city, and it was very like that episode of
Yeah.
Avatar where like it just
Yeah,
it was,
Yeah,
like,
the Tales of
mini
Red
stories.
Lodge.
Yeah.
yeah. It was really, and it was actually worked pretty well. Like I find that sometimes those sort of sessions can get like a bit like I don't know all about one person, but I sort of forced like everyone had their thing, but for short periods, and we sort of just rotated through quite quickly, and that worked. But
But
yeah,
also the
more
other
of
ones were
those.
interesting. Like I really wanted to know what Jet, Yodelog, and Quark were up to because by that time our characters had developed really well and had personalities. So like it was super interesting to. It was like what we did today with the 10 years later thing. It was like what would they do? Like let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I got a
The
lot
one
done in
problem
Red
with
Lodge as
Adventure
well.
being-
I got a lot done as well. I got my special arrows. I started a seed melon empire.
Yes.
It was a big
special
day for
arrows-
me.
I don't think I did much in Red Lodge. I think I got my
That
armor.
was so cool in the final fight. Because it is the pity with it just being such a localized adventure in the Summer Hills. Because that's the thing. If it was like a bigger one, it's like, oh yeah, we've got the airship and we've got 2 days before something happens. Let's go back to this other city, or
Yeah,
you
we
know,
didn't even.
there's a thing in a place.
Yeah.
Let's go check that out.
Didn't even go to like Waterdeep at all.
Nah.
Yeah.
Something this campaign stressed was sort of like the time
You gotta do it
criticality
right
of,
now.
like, dealing with the qual.
You gotta save the world. Yeah. And we took a vacation for like 2 hours, and then a town blew up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
It's
So
like,
it was-
we're at a party. Oh, but city blew up.
We had another party, and a worm attacked us.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You just don't go to parties anymore.
It
Bad.
is funny thinking back on the campaign and like the time in Feathergale Spire with the Aarakocra like sort of war band and like the time in Womford and like how like kept like far away in my life those points in time feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, good lord. Like, reading back through my early notes, it's just like, this was years ago, literally and figuratively.
But I think that's one of the beautiful things about D&D is that like it has spacing that like no other game really has. Like it's meant to be played over a year or two, and that's kind of beautiful. Like and your character grows like slowly but surely. So like what your character could do back at the beginning of the campaign was baby shit compared to what they can do now. And that's
Yeah.
what makes what they can do now feel so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
And the Sword Coast, yeah, it's just massive. Like,
It is massive.
I feel like I've only ever played like 2 small areas of it.
Probably. Well, and
Glad that we had a week off in the middle and process.
Sorry, Dylan?
I was saying, I'm very glad we had like, whatever. I'm very glad we had like a week off and an acid trip to like process the end of the campaign before that final session. It was just like so sad while I was on acid, just like about it.
Yeah, it's
But,
it's
we
a
had
big
some,
thing.
had some good visualization of what was going on, like, because that's just where I mapped out what Jet was doing, because I'm just like, what would he be doing?
Yeah, I'm glad you took the airship. I mean, that was always the plan, but like, I'm still glad you took it.
Yeah, like, of course Jet was going to be the one to take it.
Yeah.
Because I imagine he would have asked Yodelog and Quark to come continue adventuring.
And they had their own shit.
Yeah, and they had their own thing to do.
Yeah,
Yodelog
dude.
probably would have come for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd help out. You'd be like, there's undead. I'd be like, I'm in.
Yodelog, we have things to kill.
You just get there like raising citadels, and it's like, okay, where are the undead? And you're like,
Yeah.
create an illusion of one that he can go check.
Yeah.
Because I was really surprised that Faerun doesn't really have any floating citadels anymore. They all, like, crashed, thousands of years.
Wanna know why?
Is it Lathander?
It wasn't Lathander. It does with like the retcon of magic and stuff like that. How we're not able to cast like level 12th or 13th level spells or whatever.
Yeah.
Because what happened is some guy who like was super powerful did a bunch of the floating cities.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember the exact reason of why he wanted to do it, but he wanted to like get some more power to do something, and he had to borrow the power of. Oh, I'll let them come back.
They just look like they're really fixated.
Oh, there you go. And
Yeah.
he needed the power of one of the gods, so he decided to take the power of like the magic god, but it turns out that magic god was the one who was actually making it possible for all magic to function in the world. So in that short period that he took that god's power, like the floating citadel stopped floating.
Oh.
So they all like crashed down, and then there was like essentially the gods had to remake how the whole magic thing worked because its magic entity wasn't there anymore, and then they like
the time of troubles.
Yeah, then they nerfed what mortals could cast. So
Yeah, Mistra was basically like, fuck you all.
yeah,
No more access to high magic, and you all can only cast so much a day.
She full on died, and another god replaced her.
Briefly.
No, like full on. I remember seeing a video about this.
Yeah, but didn't she come back? She died. Like I
No,
remember.
like it was another god which was called something like still with Mist in her name, but like
That
different vowel.
it's probably like how Lythander is also like this other god, but then he's became Lythander again, and then like they
Yeah, it was like from Maestor to Mistra or something like that.
But yeah, that was super cool.
Oh, nice. Well, Jet wants to bring them back with tech versus magic.
Yeah, just huge like mortal engines.
Yeah, because I just love the idea of like the main one that's crashed on Mithranor that like took it out at the end of like that big elven war.
Yeah.
Because my other character in like my other campaign is from Mithranor before it fell, so there was a whole fun thing there. Because elves.
It'd be so old.
Yeah.
Well, there's Desrin.
So, yeah.
What else?
Frozen again. It keeps happening. We should probably move.
Any other loose ends you needed tied up?
I think so. That's kind of it.
Was there any bows? Did we miss any? I feel like we really scrounged for ranged +1 weapons, and there was
Might have
none.
actually been a bow.
None.
Well, like that's
I kept hoping. I was like,
Very
surely this
bad.
time it'll be a ranged weapon because we've got 3 out of 4 party members using ranged weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
There were no bows.
yeah, it's a very light on campaign of magic items.
Yeah.
This is why
That'll be something I would change for a future campaign as well. Just hand them out a little bit more because they're fun.
This is why I maintain that we should play a Pathfinder adventure path because they're very liberal with their magic items, even the ones that are just like a bit fun versus
Yeah.
you know like
Yeah.
You can try moving the hand.
All right, you're back.
Yeah. Not just magic
We'll try
items,
to turn
which
off
curses you.
Make the difference.
I'd love to do a campaign with like the 9 hells or the abyss layers or whatever, but I don't know how it possibly would work. But like,
well, I
there's
was
so much-
looking at how you could possibly roll this campaign into Descent to Avernus, which would actually like you'd have to do a lot of scaling, but you could. They'd line up pretty well if you skip the Baldur's Gate part, which everyone says
Yeah.
to do it bad. So it's basically like, oh, the quadruple heroes have gone here to investigate some new cult activity, and then they get sucked into fucking Avernus with the whole city, and then then you go and have your fun hell adventure. But apparently that one needs like a lot of work to.
Oh yeah. Well, how could you be
But then
like level 1 to 13 to go into the first layer of the 9 hells? Like that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's not. There's not much that goes deeper. But that did I ever link to you that the Alexandrian website, Lockie, when you were doing Journey of Dragons?
I don't think so. Oh, you might have, but
Yeah, there's like, a nerd who's basically gotten a heap of the written adventures and just like deep dicked them down and fixed them, both like the maths, the pacing, the plot, like done a real fucking deep dive to make them better for DMs to run. And like Avernus was the second one he did after he did Rise of Tiamat.
that's such a lot of work. Even reading this shit was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Avernus would be cool. But yeah, it does need a lot of work. Because I was saying to Lockie as well, like another possible option would be to like just go back to Storm Thunder.
Storm King's Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost better with the video on, so I know when they've.
Yeah.
Frozen. Well, yeah. I mean, not in a rush to do, because we've got Romans one shot in the new year, or in whenever we said we'd do it.
I thought we said the 27th.
Oh, yeah.
The Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Then give Lockie a break for a while, and then we can work out what we want to do next.
Yeah.
I want to have my queer summer.
Yeah. It's too good a group to pass, and you guys are stuck here.
It is too good a group to let slip away.
Yeah.
It's actually like it's very rare that you get good chemistry across like the whole group.
Especially considering we had the entire thing over fucking Zoom. Like, we haven't had a single session that still worked this well.
Yeah. One interesting idea that I came across recently was the idea that you need to have player chemistry and character chemistry.
Yes.
And that if you find yourself, your players are good, but you find your character just doesn't quite mesh or doesn't quite align with the interests of the party, you should just like work with the DM to like kill them off in a dramatic way. And then roll a new character that fits the.
Oh, you came pretty close to that.
Probably,
Is that what you were
yeah,
trying
I
to
was-
do
I
with
was
Jet?
not
Were you
doing
trying
that
to
Yeah.
you trying to knock
Yeah,
Jet off early? You're like, Jet's not really fitting in. Everyone thinks he's an elf.
Jet fit into the party so well.
I feel like the dice just decided you needed to die, Dylan. That was it.
Yeah.
I thought it was Roman.
I
Wasn't it
rolled.
Roman that said, "Oh, you couldn't miss if you're unconscious"?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
did.
No,
Video
I
evidence.
didn't say you couldn't. I was like, I just reminded everyone that if you get hit while you're down, it counts as a death save.
Well, I guess that doesn't miss then, does it?
And it was only his first one, but then he
He
went
rolled
on
a one.
Could fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Jet was not an accurate boy. He did not roll well a lot. When he rolled well, he hit like a fucking freight train. But for
Yeah.
the most, he did not roll well.
I feel like whenever he fired, it was a.
Yeah.
Oh.
Close your eyes.
I love that your first shot, you completely missed the whole camera and everything. You're just like over here.
I'm just doing it.
He just does a dab and like shoots up to the side.
Good luck, Jet.
That's how fucking Jet fires stuff. It's just a dab.
No, did any of you play Final Fantasy 13?
No.
So one of the characters is like a black dude with a chocobo in his afro, but he has two guns, and every one of his shots is just like kapew, kapew, and
Oh,
shoots
yeah.
one of his legs, and it's just all fucking like, this is what the Japanese think of black people.
Yeah.
That's how Jet does it. He's just like trying to shoot through his legs and through his shoulder. What he does in the game.
It's okay.
Final Fantasy 13 was
Interesting.
not a good game.
We've got under 100 viewers. I would approximate.
I also liked how Dice just seemed to decide so much. Like, I just couldn't heal to save any of our lives.
Healing
Yeah,
kind
I
of
know,
seems like it
literally.
sucks. I'm on board with you now. I just fireball people, man. Healing's not very good.
Yeah, I would say Jet probably did more, like, significantly more healing than Yodelo did across the time.
I think
tried.
I did
cast
more healing with bloody second
Second wind.
wind.
I casted several like 5th level healing spells that did like 10 healing, and I was like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah, the few times
What
you
is
cast like
this?
healing, and it's like, that's the 6.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Oh, so sad.
Oh,
God.
there we
It's
go.
definitely noticeable not having someone who could cast Healing Word, though.
Mm.
Like,
Is that the bonus action one?
yeah, the bonus action and at range, because it's like great having a bard or
Yeah.
I thought clerics could get it, but maybe it's just druids. But like having a bard, because you just
They
like
probably could.
and they're back. Then they're back up, and then you never really have to worry about death saves or anything because you don't have to get over to them because you just yell at them.
Is it like a cantrip?
No, it's a first level spell, but it's
Okay.
a bonus action at range.
I mean, I have it, but
Like,
why
like
would I
it's,
ever use that?
like, it's not as good as Cure Light Wounds, but
It does 1d4 plus spellcasting.
Okay.
yeah, but it's
so
perfect
just-
for someone's been knocked down and I need to get them back up.
Yeah.
You know.
This
so
is
it's
as
good for
good
that.
as
Oh,
Yodelogue's.
I even had it prepared.
Oh,
Fucking. God damn it, Yodelogue.
I'm busy. Why would I spend
a bonus action.
time?
They could just be wasting.
Yeah. I often was like tapped for spell slots though. Like
Yeah, you really were. I mean, that's the hard part about being a light cleric at low levels, especially. It's all spells.
yeah.
Alright.
Lord.
There we go. Perfect roll. Oh, nobody's on the thing. I did a healing.
Oh my
healing.
god, it was perfect healing.
Oh
word.
my god. A
Perfect
12 healing as a bonus action. You could have been doing that all the time.
I rolled a 4 to 4, 4 to 4, and then a +4.
Did you have a bonus 2d4 plus 4 healing at this whole time?
No. That was my casting at a second level.
Oh, okay.
1d4 plus 4 is pretty low
1d4
value for a level 1 spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have so many spell slots. I feel like healing should be more cantripy in D&D. Like,
I feel like that'd be too strong
Yeah.
then though, you know, it's hard to balance where like healing's good, but you don't have to have a healer, you know?
Yeah. Because
It's tough.
the way D&D is built, it's you can't out heal the damage like you couldn't WoW or whatever. So it's basically healing really should just be used for when someone's knocked down or when it's like they're about fucked and you're gonna try and
Yeah.
burst them past that so they can get an extra hit in.
actually, that's true.
As soon as you have a
And then-
healing cantrip as well, you're never not at full health, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because you just always be like, pop, 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 pop.
Very true.
And the fact that healing is not that good means that you end up having more diverse parties where you don't have to have heal bot.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, because I know Pathfinder in its first edition, your party would really fucking struggle if you didn't have a cleric. Like, you always, like, even having just a paladin wasn't really good enough. Like, you always needed a cleric, pretty much. Or you're going to have, like, quite a bad time.
Like we had kind of an off healer, an off tank, and like, you know, I don't feel like we really need any more than that.
And a dodge tank, sort of.
Who'd never tanked.
Yeah, who never tanked. Like, Ember, please go dodge tank. And she was just like, boop, 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 off in the corner.
Quoloff dodge tanked for us. She's just
Yeah,
really
Quoloff
bad at
does.
dodging.
Quoloff does a lot of that.
I think we got up to. How many did we get up to? Like 15?
No, it's like 8 or 9.
That's a lot.
Still a lot, yeah.
And that's only when Loki started killing him, like, later on. Like, we started
Yeah,
doing
true.
it.
I could have really hunted Quoloff down a lot more earlier on.
Which would have been fine. Like, you got a bird annoying you. It makes sense that the.
You would have run out of money. God.
Yeah,
Jet
Jet
had-
had like 80 gold.
Jet had so much cash by the end that he just, like, never had a chance to use.
You know, the
Yeah, how
Roman
much money do I
alphabet
have?
only goes so high before it starts getting cumbersome.
300 gold plus 32 platinum. I feel like I had more than that. So 700 GP. I feel like I had more, but whatever.
Let's have a look. Jet.
I don't have that much. 177 gold, 29 platinum.
Money's so weird in D&D. I don't really see the point.
It quickly becomes like irrelevant.
Fucking, yeah, I had 32 platinum, 671 gold, and 630 silver, and then like a whole heap of jewels and other things.
Oh yeah.
Fucking, there was one point in my other campaign where Noel, I swear to God, we spent like a fucking hour looking for a bank, arguing with Noel, and then trying to work out how, because we had like a few thousand gold at this point that we'd like found in a dungeon, and it's like just arguing about how this would work, and then he's like, sure, you can bank some of it, but like if you want to take some of it with you, and then it's like, oh, you can swap it into larger gold bricks that are really heavy, and it's like, well, why would we do that? You make us track fucking weight, like
Yeah.
it just was like the biggest waste of time when he could have just been like, you may do banking in big cities.
Poor compound interest.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this guy's like weird focus on realism in D&D.
It's so annoying. Like, he's gotten better, but it's still just like there's just so much random stuff that's just like, why are you making us do this? Like, it's like my wizard is never going to take another point in strength, so
Unless what?
never going to be able to carry. Like,
We're gonna make strength not a dump stat somehow, I guess.
I'm a wizard. Even with being a blade singer, she still doesn't like.
Yeah.
It was
Only
the
you
most
can.
handy that she's an elf and doesn't need to fucking sleep, so I could just ditch all of that stuff because that's all really heavy. But
It
like,
would be
Elves don't sleep.
but it's like, yeah, they just sort of meditate for 4 hours. But it's like my armor, my rapier, my 2 spell books, and like food and water is almost enough to put her at encumbrance.
Could we don't worry too much about encumbrance in this.
We never even
I
considered
would
encumbrance.
never.
Encumbrance
Seriously.
I kind of like
sucks.
your realism stuff, but I don't think it should be at the table. Like, sure, banking can be done in big cities, but that just should be automatic. But like a little shop that you can like go to anytime, even if you're not in session, just to spend your gold and like find some fun
Yeah.
shit would be really cool. Yeah.
It'd be fun to do a session with like rolled stats, and then you could end up with like.
Aren't we
Super
doing
shit
that for
guy.
Christmas one shot?
Oh yeah, you're gonna roll your stats for this one shot. Absolutely.
Sweet.
So,
Did
what's the room playing? I gotta figure out what class I want to be.
I think I'm gonna be a
Do you want me to
barbarian.
read the introduction to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I got it in front of me here. Alright. You hear a grandfather clock strike 6 inside the Stumble-On Inn just before you enter. A fairly large inn on a somewhat travelled road between Stonebridge and Palace Square. It's toward the end of a cold winter's day, and you're desperate for some rest, a meal, and some drinks. The inn is a beautiful building, 3 floors tall, jutting out from a rocky outcrop suspended in the middle of Mirror Falls. This great waterfall carries water from Lake Unicorn down to become the Middle River, although it's almost frozen, and the water runs slow and in small streams past sharp-looking icicles. A bridge either side of the tavern links it to the roads that run parallel.
I wonder what they run parallel to.
With the waterways. Front speed. Oh no!
What
What
they
did I
run
get up
parallel
to?
to?
The
Parallel
waterways.
Parallel either side of the waterways. The veranda at the front of the tavern through which you entered boasts a spectacular view of the heaths and hills that roll their way down to Stonebridge. The inn is everything you want after a day of brisk walking. The wooden wall panels are ornately carved with plant motifs, and the rafters are entwined with ivy, reflecting the verdant landscape outside. Shelves line the walls containing a random collection of books, vases, carved animals, and other curiosities. Tinsel and other Christmas paraphernalia literally deck the halls and everywhere else you can see. Stairs lead up to a gallery above your heads, teasing the promise of cozy rooms in which to spend the night, and a crackling fire offers relief from the cold climate outside, promises warmth and comfort. A large natural Christmas tree sits a little too close next to it. It's almost overflowing with baubles, though you can see 1 or 2 branches which were missed. The and subdued atmosphere, and they're frozen. Oh no, they're not. Attends to the
We're
patrons.
back.
A halfling takes orders at the bar, while a boy with fiery red hair polishes beer glasses with a rag.
Ooh,
There
fiery
are
red
3
hair.
rugged-looking men. Yeah, red hair! With fair complexions and long plaited beards, dressed in fur with great axes sheathed at their sides. A human in gaudy purple breeches sits at the other end of the counter, alternating between concentration and frustration as he tries to tune his lute, and smiling and winking as he makes eye contact with fellow patrons. There's an old woman in the corner, adorned in exotic silks and beads, shuffling through a deck of tarot cards with an ominous crystal ball. 2 gnomes grumble at each other over a game of dragon chess. 3 very similar-looking half-elf girls in pretty pastel-coloured dresses sit near the fire and tree, chatting idly with the occasional giggle. There's also a dog next to them, which they are giving the occasional stroke. A young woman in huge round spectacles, a long sky blue robe, and matching pointed hat paws over a stack of books and papers she has strewn over the table. And last but not least, through a door open behind her, you have a glimpse of a more intimate lounge. There you can see 5 humans in common dress talking in excited huddle over a large piece of parchment. So there's plenty of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Is
That
the
didn't
whole
felt good. I love the description. It really whisked me away.
campaign just set in the inn? Like, there's so much stuff there. How are we gonna do a one shot that starts
Yeah.
here?
I don't know.
It's actually
It's the
the
full campaign. He's just tricking us.
Oh, we didn't finish on Monday. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Oh,
Just-
it's still going.
Like 3 years later, you're still going. No. It's on the clock, so you'll be fine. It is.
It is.
So
literally
it's
time.
literally time, so you'll be okay.
Excellent.
With
Okay.
like stuff that happens. But yeah, there's like lots of options. There'll be like two combats at most. Very unlikely to be any more than that, unless you just go in punching everyone. So yeah, whatever you want, make it flavorful. You're
So-
supposed to be, in terms of your backstories, you're supposed to be performers traveling to Palace Square as your staff for a Christmas festival. So if one of you wants to be a bard, that makes a lot of sense. A rogue could be especially acrobatic. One of you could be a cook.
Strong man barbarian makes sense.
Yeah.
No, he's a trapezist who falls off the end of the act. Come on,
Yeah.
Lachlan.
Oh, whoops.
That's his big finale. Is he pretends
because
to
he's
die.
a barbarian, he just rages and takes half damage from falling.
Exactly.
Fine.
Yeah, like
Alright.
if you think it would be entertaining to people back in medieval times, if you're a fighter, like because you know it's entertaining fights and really it's dancing, whatever. But the background is that you all know each other and you've been traveling together to get to this Christmas festival in Palace Square.
What are you gonna be, Ed?
I was thinking about being some kind of fortune teller who doesn't actually tell the future.
Ooh. Like a
Who just
sham
pretends and then
sorcerer.
leaves. You're just traveling. What are they gonna do?
Maybe I'll be the druid and I'll be like the dancing bear. That's pretty good actually.
That's
Together.
fun.
Oh, so you
Okay.
transform to a bear and dance?
Yeah.
Love that.
What are you gonna be doing?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Possibly something magic-y.
I actually really like druids. They're a fun class. What level are we running?
Probably like 3 should be fine.
3. Okay.
Low level.
Sweet. All right. Well,
Yeah, that's not bad. I think
I'm still sick, so I think I'm gonna go to bed. But that was really satisfying. I'm glad we had that wrap up. I'd love to
Yeah.
actually get, if everyone wrote it down, so I'd love to get the writing so I can read it. And also send me through descriptions so I can get art ordered.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I will get on that when I'm back in Sydney tomorrow.
Very good. All right. Thanks everyone for a wonderful 2 years.
Yeah.
Weird to say, but yeah, it was really, really
to the
good.
next one. So exciting.
Yeah, I'll have to think long and hard. I'm like really tossing up whether to do some sort of homebrewy sort of thing, or just play another like pre-made. But I'll talk to my brother about it because Cameron's really good at the sort of world building and the sort of strategical stuff of homebrew. So I might get him to help me build it, and then if I go down that route, which I think will, because I like running the campaign, but like I don't necessarily love the
Well, build it.
Preparation.
yeah, and he's got some really cool ideas. So
Could be good because it means like you don't have to worry like, oh no, what's the book say? You're just like, we're doing this.
yeah,
You just-
exactly. And whenever I get stuck, I can be like, Cameron, what do you think we should do here? And we can like, I did that a couple times in this campaign. I was like, Cameron, Buckets has destroyed my finale to the campaign. What do I do?
Oh, Forbidden's, that was just perfect.
It's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
So good.
It was the ultimate spell. All right, very good. I'll see you at Romans one shot. What was the date again?
Monday.
7th, the day after Boxing Day, I believe.
So Monday.
Monday,
Monday.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got
Hey,
the
so we'll
backup
do
on
it.
Tuesday if we need to.
What time, Roman?
That's up to you.
Early. Yeah.
I have squash on Monday that ends at like I usually get home at like 7:15.
Can we do
7:16.
7:16? 30
Okay,
seconds in the
7:16.
shower.
All right. Okay.
Just
I don't need a shower.
put something over your nips and come on out.
All right.
When?
Monday
So
at 7:16
Okay, 7:16. Love that.
p.m.
Okay.
AM?
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. I'll see y'all then.
See you
Awesome.
then.
Alright.
Bye
See
bye.
ya.